Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Smackdown. And I thought tonight's Smackdown was pretty much a meh kind of show. I have to say Raw was a lot better last night, and just the Smackdown, it was just, it wasn't that good of a show. It was pretty much, it felt like, like a filler show, like it was just all filler. So. But the show opened up with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn coming out. Owens says, he's learned over the past months that, when you are a victim of the McMahon family, they will get their pound of flesh. Owens also says that he and Sami are the latest objects of the McMahon family wrath because of them dealing with Shane. And Owens says that Shane tried to end his career and he used Orton to do it. Says Orton for years has been given, every opportunity that, he has. And he goes on to say that, he had to beat Orton so bad so Orton wouldn't be an option for, Shane to use, and, how he had to outsmart Shane, how to, Owens, had to outsmart Shane and, just beat up Orton, really bad. And then Sami says to Shane that, he has to watch his words carefully and that him and Owens, work the system. And, we just see Sami just keep on talking, saying, oh, this is where I beat, this is what happened last week. We got, a horrible announced team. We got, a timekeeper who, is like not doing his job. Sami's just, talking all about that. And when, Sami's still talking, Orton comes from out of nowhere and he hits an RKO on Owens in the ring. Shane ends up coming out and says, Sami and Owens will take on Orton, and a partner of Orton's choosing is going to be at Clash of Champions, which is 12 days away. So, but yeah, so that's booked for Clash of Champions. And Shane then says to Sami that he will face Orton tonight, and Owens will be at ringside, but Owens will be handcuffed to the ring rope. And so pretty much that after that it ended that segment. It was pretty much a okay segment with them. Wasn't great or perfect though. And then when SmackDown came back from commercial, we saw Owens and Sami backstage. Sami tells Orton, because Owens was out of it after the RKO, and Sami ends up telling him what happened, when he was put out with the RKO from Orton. And Sami tells him that he got put in a match against Orton, and that Owens will be handcuffed to the ring rope. And Owens doesn't like that, and he ends up telling Sami he's going to go talk to Daniel Bryan and tell Daniel to call off this whole thing about him being handcuffed to the ring rope. Pretty much it was basically that little backstage thing that happened. Then we had the first match tonight. It was New Day versus Rusev and Aiden English. For New Day, it was Kofi Kingston and Big E taking on Rusev and Aiden English. Before the match started, Aiden English was on the mic. He comes out, saying, "Every day is Rusev Day," and he goes on to say that there is a 12 Rusev days of Rusev Day or whatever that is. He pretty much tries to sing like how the 12 days of Christmas and pretty much like that. It was pretty funny though. And then we got on with the match. Rusev and Aiden English versus New Day, Kofi and Big E. This was pretty much just a okay match. Wasn't that wasn't great or perfect by any means, but it was just okay. But we had Rusev and Aiden English win the match because Rusev ended up kicking Kofi from behind. So, but it was just an okay match. Like I said, wasn't great or perfect by any means. And then after the match, we had Renee Young interviewing Mojo Rawley about what he did to Zack Ryder last week, and Mojo says when things started to go his way, Ryder came back. When Ryder was out with an injury, Mojo won the battle, the Andre Giant Battle Royal, and he thought everything was going good for him until Zack Ryder came back, and he says that when Ryder came back, when Zack Ryder came back, Zack Ryder started to drag him down, started to drag Mojo down, and he claims that he is a serious competitor, and he goes on to say that anybody who has a problem with what he did to Ryder last week, they could all shove it, and he then just walks away. But it was a pretty decent little interview with Mojo. Really would like to would like to see how they handle his heel turn. I think it has a lot of potential. Seeing Mojo as a singles competitor, I think it's going to be really interesting. And I know that they're going to probably have Mojo versus Ryder soon. Maybe it will happen at Clash of Champions. Who knows? But it was a pretty decent interview with Mojo. And then we had Daniel Bryan backstage with it was with Carmella, Lana, and Tamina. Carmella says she rid James Ellsworth. That she got rid of James Ellsworth, which justifies her a top spot at Clash of Champions. And Lana says, Tamina should have. Lana tells Daniel that Tamina should have a shot at Charlotte at for the SmackDown Women's title. And Daniel tells Lana that the match has been booked already with Charlotte versus Natalya. And Daniel says to Carmella that she could be in it if she hands him over the Money in the Bank contract, which Carmella named the briefcase Frankie, which is kind of odd. And then the Riot Squad end up coming. Ruby Riott complains, why she isn't in the match when she pinned Charlotte. Liv Morgan says to Daniel that he's prejudiced against blondes, and Sarah Logan agrees with that, and she also says to Daniel that he's pretty much biased towards Southerners, and it causes all the women to bicker, and then Daniel just tells them, to keep quiet, shut up, and he screams. He screams at that, though, which was really funny. But it was okay backstage segment with them. Then after that, we had Bobby Roode and Baron Corbin backstage. Baron says to Bobby that that Dolph shouldn't be in the match. Roode says to Corbin that he could beat him one-on-one with but with Dolph being added mathematically, Roode says that it's a third of a chance. And then Baron says the chance of him winning is going down, and that he is the only one who matters. Dolph ends up coming in, and you haven't seen Dolph in a while now, but he comes in and says to them both that he's added to the match because he is a 2-time world champion, of course a 5-time Intercontinental champion, and he's cashed in his Money in the Bank. He cashed in his Money in the Bank properly, trying to shove it in Corbin's face. And he goes, both he goes, the both odds to Corbin and Roode winning the match at Clash of Champions drop to a 0. So it's gonna be Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler at Clash of Champions for the United States title. So, but it was okay segment backstage with them. Then you had Harper and Rowan, the Bludgeon brothers, versus some jobbers. It was pretty much just a squash match. Bludgeon brothers won the match. Nothing else to explain. But they're just trying to make Harper and Rowan more stronger so they could give them competition down the line. But I like this pairing with Harper and Rowan. So, but overall, it was just a squash match. Nothing else to explain about it. Then after that, we had Sami Zayn, say to Owens, if Owens talked to Daniel Bryan about the match, and Owens tells Sami that, Owens tells Sami that Daniel Bryan said that he will think about that. And Sami questions whether, that's a good thing or a bad thing. And Owens says to him, we just have to find out. So it was that little thing with them. Then the next match, it was Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin. Dolph Ziggler was on commentary through the match, and the match itself was decent. It was pretty decent. Wouldn't have to say it was great or anything, but it was decent. It was going decent up until Dolph got in the ring, and Dolph ended up hitting a zigzag on both Bobby Roode and Baron Corbin. So the match ended in a no contest. So, but the match was going decent. So, then after that, we had Natalya backstage with Carmella, Lana, and Tamina. And Natalya is happy that all three of them are going to be out, for Clash of Champions, which they're going to be lumberjacks, because this match between Charlotte and Natalya, Clash of Champions, is now a lumberjack match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And Natalya says that if the Riot Squad attacks her, she needs to know if all three of them will have her back. And she tells them that, they are not going to let the Riot Squad mess up another match. And the Riot Squad ends up coming, and Natalya thanks them for taking out Becky 2 weeks ago, and also Naomi last week. And it was just pretty much basically that. The Riot Squad were just, talking, with Natalya. And then we had the next match. It was Charlotte versus Tamina. It was okay. Nothing great about the match, but it flowed pretty okay though. I mean, we had all three of them down there. We had Carmella, Lana, and Tamina down there. But Charlotte ended up getting the win with the figure 8 on Tamina. And then after the match, Natalya ends up congratulating her and says that at Clash of Champions she's going to take the SmackDown Women's title back. the Riot Squad ends up coming out, and Ruby Riot says that she agrees with Natalya, and pretty much they were just, talking, Ruby Riot, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan, and we see Sarah Logan go after Tamina, and a little brawl ensures. Uh, so, and then we had Charlotte just, run up the ramp, wanted nothing to do with any of what was happening. So, but yeah. So all in all, the match was okay. Nothing perfect or great about it. And we get to the match, the next match. Daniel, well, pretty much before the match starts, we had Daniel Bryan come. He says to Owens that Shane wants no interference in the match between Sami and Orton. So pretty much basically Owens had to still go on and be handcuffed to the ring rope. And when SmackDown came back from the commercial, we saw Owens just arguing with Daniel about him being handcuffed to the ring rope. And Daniel says to Owens that if he doesn't get handcuffed, he will be suspended. And so that pretty much pissed off Owens. So Owens had to be handcuffed to the ring rope. Sorry about that, but I was saying, Daniel told Owens that if he didn't get handcuffed, he would be suspended, and so Owens was handcuffed, and that pissed him off. And then it led to the main event, Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn, and this was a good main event. I liked this main event. It was just Orton just beating the hell out of Sami. He threw him over the announce table. He slammed him onto the announce table and broke one of the announcer's monitors, which was pretty cool. And then you had you had Sami go under the ring, and he found these sort of like forgot the name of them. They're like these big pliers, and he put him there. He was trying to give them to Owens so Owens could break himself free out of the handcuffs, but Orton made a stop to that, and Owens did actually get out of the handcuffs. He cut himself free from the handcuffs because he used those big pliers, whatever you call the big pliers. I forgot the name. There's a name to it, but I forgot what they are though. But Owens cut the chain of the handcuffs, and he got out. He got out of it, and Orton just laid out Owens, took him out, and then Orton hit the. Then Orton won the match with a roll up on Sami Zayn to score the win. Then after the match, Owens and Sami ended up beating up on Orton. Shinsuke Nakamura comes out and takes out both Owens and Sami. Then Nakamura hits Owens with the Kinshasa, whatever I call it. It's always hard for me to pronounce his finisher. So Shinsuke lays Owens out with that. Then Orton hits Sami with the RKO. Then Orton hits Owens. He hits Owens with an RKO. And then Nakamura ends up laying out Sami with the Kinshasa, whatever. I can't pronounce it. The Kinshasa. It's hard for me to pronounce it though. But pretty much that pretty much ended that. And after that, we saw Daniel Bryan and Shane backstage. Daniel says to Shane, is he done punishing Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? And Shane says, it's just the beginning of what he's going to do. And he announces that he is going to be the special guest referee in the match with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton and a partner of his choosing. So this is going to happen at Clash of Champions. So Shane announced that he is the special guest referee for that match. And he goes on to say that if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens lose the match at Clash of Champions, they will be fired. They will be gone from WWE. So, and that pretty much ended SmackDown for tonight. So, but anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of SmackDown. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until the next video, I'll see you all later.